taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day, while the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor. He was telling you to build your own house.
Hooty-hoo. Couldn't wait to say that today. Hooty-hoo. That's kind of an old 60s war cry, for those that don't know. You'll probably hear it in a lot of different movies and things like that. Welcome back to the No PC Show. I see we got some few people that have made it over to the YouTube side. We encourage everyone on the Facebook side, shouting out Lester, Kathy, Brandon. Thanks for joining us tonight on this first No PC show of the year. This is going to be kind of a tame show because it's just the first one of the year. So we're going to be talking about a lot of current events. We're going to be talking about the marijuana became legal January the 1st in Illinois. And we're going to talk about the pot sales and my first visit to a CBD oil store. We're going to talk about a few things, and you only can see these things if you come over to the YouTube side. So we posted a link up in the Facebook side. If you click that link, it will take you directly to the YouTube side. What's up, Brother L? Happy New Year's. My sisters out there, Miss Nikki, Landry, love you. Happy New Year's. Miss you. So as we continue to try to grow this group, there's about 90 people. Subscribe to the No PC channel. Let's see if we can get that up to about 200 by the year's end. Like I say, a lot of the things that we show, you cannot see on the Facebook side. You just can't see it. And if you want to see what we're doing, then you have to click the link, come on over to the YouTube side, click the subscribe button, click the notification button, and you will be able to enjoy the sights, as we can say. So with that being said and done, and the links have been placed out there, we are going to start tonight. Let's get these deaths out of the way real quick. Not get them out the way, but let's talk about them. I guess there were a few notable deaths, and I'm going to put them up on the screen. Nick Gordon, the play son of Whitney Houston and brother / boyfriend of Christy Bobby, died yesterday. I don't know how a lot of people feel about that. Any death is not to be taken lightly. And sometimes a lifestyle that you live in and continue to live in, whether he had something to do with going to get drugs for Whitney, giving drugs to Bobby Christina, ingesting drugs himself. Uh, Drugs can be a destructive pattern in your life. And so, hey, Lawrence. And so, if you are involved in drugs, I suggest that you seek treatment and try to get that cleaned up. I never personally was on drugs to that level, but I did have a friend and I did attend drug counseling over at St. Sabina Church with Father Flager on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And it was enlightening just to go there. And I wound up getting a few customers out of that because even back then, I had dreams of my RPC Computing Company, which is located 1741 East 71st Street in Chicago, 773-966-4457 for all your computing and printing needs. So, God rest the dead. Whatever the man did, we don't know. We only can speculate, and we'll just leave it at that. Another notable death was that of Jack Sheldon. And we all remember Jack Sheldon because he gave us Schoolhouse Rock. And all us kids that grew up in the 70s and late 80s, you couldn't get up on a Saturday morning without getting your Schoolhouse Rock in. And I think he was 88 or something like that. So he passed away. You also had David Stern, which I thought I brought that up already. David Stern, the man who made the NBA what it was when a lot of people don't remember the ABA and the NBA were two different leagues. And first of all, Dr. J came over in the deal. I think they took like 16s from the ABA, and they took a lot of rules. Like there was no dunking in the NBA. A lot of people don't remember that there was no dunking in the NBA, but you could dunk in the ABA. You had the 3-point shot in the ABA. So in a big, massive move to save the NBA, they merged with the ABA. Teams like the Nets and such, and Dr. J came over and revitalized the league. And then David Stearns came in, and he had a great marketing mind, and he was able to take stars such as Magic, Bird, but his greatest trophy was probably Michael Jordan, where he was able to market Michael to the world and make the NBA a global industry. And whether you liked his policies or not, he stepped up and made the NBA a global package. It wasn't a perfect package. He wasn't a perfect guy, but I couldn't really find a reason to dislike David Stearns. He did what he did, then he turned the reins over, and a few weeks ago he had a blood hemorrhage. So with that blood hemorrhage, I guess on New Year's something else went on, and he was called on to glory also. There was another person that died, which I wasn't familiar. This rapper Lexi Alajay, 21 years old. Died. They haven't determined a cause of death yet for her. So she died also. So there were a lot of deaths to start the new year off, and it's never a good way to start the new year off. But like I say, God bless their families as they go through this moment of grief. Now I want to talk to you about marijuana in Illinois. Everybody went crazy today. They had all over the news people lining up for hours and hours and hours. The totals have come in. First day of weed sales, $3.2 million. First day. $3.2 million. How much of that are we getting? They did, I guess Pritzker did let out like 1,100 people, overturned their convictions. But, that's a long road to travel back. That's because you're out now. Now you still have a stigmatism on your life. So we still have to protest to have that "Are you a felon" box removed from applications and stop that roadblock from being there to allow our young men and older men or people who have had issues with the law that they can go and live a productive life. But as long as that felon box is there and they got to check it, because if they don't check it, then that's a whole nother issue. It's just a situation that I've never liked. And I know there were a few places all around Chicagoland in the last few weeks doing expungements. And expungement is not an immediate thing. It's going to take you about 8 months to get that whole process taken care of. So you have to stay on top of it and be diligent in your effort to clean up your record if, in fact, you have a record. I want to share, a friend of mine went to the marijuana store, and I was pretty sure that the number was going to be huge anyway, and they sent me their receipt. So I want to share this receipt with you all. With this receipt, sorry people, I hadn't been reading the messages. AL says, Happy New Year's, crazy. Another overdose. My sister says, I'm not a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. I'm just a bill. And they got me on Capitol Hill. So if you're on the YouTube side, you can see I posted on the screen a bill that my friend sent me. See if I can make it larger for us with the visual issue here. And I had a conversation with them, and they spent, if you see on the bill, they spent $179.16. They had got something called SC Sangra, 3.5 grams, and grass live sugar, 1 gram. So they got a total of 4.5 grams. Which cost them $179.60. But if you look at the receipt, you'll see why the politicians and the state and everybody pushed it through, even though there was protesting because the system, today, I guess, all applications had to be in for the final 75 licenses that will be issued in Illinois. And if you look at this receipt, you'll see the subtotal was $137.50. But as you go down the line, it says local county tax, $1.03. Local city tax, $4.13. Illinois sales tax, $12.03. Illinois recreational exercise, THC tax, 25%, $6.60. And I guess they tax each product individually because there's a second Illinois recreational exercise THC tax of 35%. So the different products you get the different things on, and that was $17.89. So you're looking at all these percentages of taxes. The total amount of taxes came out to $41.66. So you see how they're going to be making hand over fist with these dispensaries. And I can tell people right now, you can think that you still going to be out here slanging drugs illegally. But when they added the money, you're right, Al, the government going to get all that money. So when you start adding up the money, they made $3.2 million in one day. You got 365 days in a year. What are we talking about? $9 billion in a year? It's gonna be crazy money. And it's amazing. That's why we talk about on the No PC show. How does all this happen and carry on, and we don't get a part of it? Maybe because of our lack of knowledge. I've kind of mentioned it here and there, and I've talked to some people. I actually happen to know one of the people that goes downstate and legislates. Her name is Edie Moore, and she's got a group called Chicago L. Now, that's Chicago L, well, Chicago Normal without the A. So if you go to Facebook and look up Chicago Normal without the A, you that'll come up and you'll see their group. They've been putting out videos, inviting people to meetings, trying to educate everybody on what it means to be involved in this industry. And I think, like I said, if I was even to consider any of this, I would want to be in the cultivation side of it, the land ownership side of it, because the land is the most important thing, because how else are you going to grow it? I think they have some grow houses and things like that. But, there's a lot of land leasing going on to cultivate this marijuana growth. Now, a lot of black people, just, I don't know if they didn't take it serious or we just didn't have the money, because how many of us had $100,000 to put into even trying to get these licenses and fill out this 300-page application to even get that far? So a lot of people may have heard about the pushing of the CBD oils for municipal purposes and the edibles and all these different things. So right on the corner from where my shop is at, today they opened the it's called the Tobacco Shop, but they have CBD products, hookahs, sweets of sweets, oils, all these different type of things that you can take part in. And I don't know if eventually they're hoping to get a license to sell marijuana down the line. But it wasn't that different. If you go to a cigar shop, like occasionally I'll go get some cigars. So the same things that I've seen in a normal cigar shop, like hookahs and different varieties of cigars and things like that, that's what they had in their store. And it was two African-American ladies. And they were nice. We had a nice 30-minute conversation, because they're the business in the neighborhood that's next to me. I figured I'd need to go over and have a conversation. And it was a decent conversation, and hopefully they will be successful. But we had a conversation about the Arabs with the store across the street. And I didn't have to tell them anything about what goes on over there, because other people that came in and told them, and they weren't sure how that's going to affect their business. And it'll probably be kind of hard to see, but I guess over time we'll see how that works out for them, because hey, Carl. Because what happens is the Arab store across the street, just like they'll sell, well, they'll sell loose cigarettes, or they'll sell instead of a whole pack, they'll sell a smaller pack of sorts of sweets. They'll sell an individual or something like that, and they'll mark it down, but they're still making like $9 on the pack, and here they are trying to. They want to sell the full package as one. So we had those discussions on what's economically feasible for the environment that they are in, and they'll figure it out, and everyone will figure it out as it goes along. People will figure out what's the best marketing plan to facilitate selling this marijuana. And there's been so many discussions about the marijuana. I never really had a problem with marijuana growing up or otherwise, unless you were just being ignorant and walking up and down the street with a joint in your mouth, or doing all types of other crazy stuff. It really didn't bother me. So, but one of the things that was happening and discussions that were going on is about the appearance in our neighborhoods and where the different drugs would be sold, and legalities of what's going to happen. Are people going to be now allowed to freely smoke these drugs up and down the street? No, you still can't freely smoke drugs up and down the street. You really can't sit in your backyard and smoke it. So the same rules are still going to apply for the most part. And if you're caught smoking on the street, you're just going to get a ticket. So you're not going to jail, but you may get a ticket for it. And as I said earlier, don't try to sell weed anymore, because even though they had to let all these people out for that, now it's still going to have a illegal quality to it, because now the government's involved. The government's getting money. And when the government getting money, they definitely don't want to see you getting money. So, be careful if that's what you're into. If you're into edibles, my sister Nicole says all that money and still no reparations. Yeah, that was our last issue we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about all the ways that they bring in money, or they make money. And this is just one of the examples. Used to be a thing called policy, and the government took it over and they called it lottery. And they promised you all this money to the school systems and everything, and none of that money ever got there, and nobody ever complained about it. They just said, okay, we lied, and kept it moving. L said, my cousin went to apply and said there were only white men applying. Well, that application fee is crazy. Unless you got that $30,000 for that application fee, and you know how to fill out those 300 pages. And I guess the $30,000 is supposed to be toward the people that can help you to pay to fill out this application, and then the rest of it is your seed money, and you have to secure a location and pass the zoning, and it was just a whole strenuous process that most black people, and that's what always amazes me, that foreigners and white folks that come in and they get these minority business licenses and certifications, and then they open shops up in our neighborhoods. And I made a statement earlier today on one of my posts that, it's time out for that. Now to point the finger at the white man is now going to be considered a crime. We're not going to point the finger. We're going to have to start pointing the finger at ourselves and what we accept and what we do, what we accept from each other and what we accept from the establishment, and what we expect. What are our aspirations toward reparations? They know the numbers. We know the numbers. Even if they got to spread it out over years, we know what it takes. But, it's hard to subject you if I don't keep you underfoot, right? I got a friend, Tony. Yeah, I said your name. And we had these debates all the time. And I say I understand completely where it's coming from a capitalist mindset. I said, but from a moral mindset, this is what we're talking about. No, we're not going to say forget the reparations. It's owed to us. Period. It's owed to our forefathers, and we want it. If you would have paid up back then, it wouldn't be no discussion right now. So we don't want to hear the Jews talking about no, you don't deserve it. No, we do, because it's one of the economic factors that has destroyed black people. Someone made a post earlier today, and they were like, well, blacks have to take more responsibility for this, this, and this. Yeah, you're true, but you act like blacks created ghettos. You act like blacks segregated the city, the United States. We did none of that. This was all socially, economically orchestrated by the government, who fought black people live on TV for over a century. So we don't want to hear that people go, oh, give it up. No. I think we all deserve it. There's a way. I don't care if we're fighting for a free education, loan forgiveness, land. There was an article about some Indian tribes getting $500 million. There was some project or something that they got, where the government destroyed them too and threw them on reservations and gave them some education and everything. So everybody has gotten some form of reparations in this country except black people, and that's because we run around screaming, I'm an American. You're never going to hear me say I'm an American. I'm a black man that happens to be in America. That's it. And there is no American flag in my shop, and there won't be until we can get that clarity. So I'm not running around saying I'm an American, because Americans don't pay reparations to Americans. Let's get that straight. So if you run around saying I'm an American, African American, or whatever type of American, you don't deserve any reparations, and you're not going to get none. Integration, worst thing that ever happened to black people in this country. But we can't let that mindset continue to hinder us as we go forward in 2020. 2020 is the year of vision. Let's get up off our knees. Like I always say, prayer is a call to action. You pray, then you take an action. There's no such thing of any verse in the Bible that says they prayed and then they sat around and waited for God. It's always a call to action. So we can continue to pray and support our church, but our mindset, our vision has to be clearer. You can't see my sign back there, but it's right there. Proverbs 29:18, for lack of vision the people perish, but happy is he that keepeth the law. And we've been keeping the law for a long time in this country, and we've been holding the flag for a long time in this country, and we've been standing up and pledging allegiance for a long time in this country. And the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So let's stop for a minute. Let's stop pledging allegiance to the United States of America until America says we did wrong. Let's make it right. As Martin Luther King said, the problem is now it didn't cost you nothing to integrate lunch counters, integrate schools and things of that nature. It didn't cost you nothing. So now that a check is due, now all of a sudden everybody is, money. You want to be economically restored. That happened to your great-great-grandfather. How's that affecting you? Well, I'll tell you a story about my great grandmother who I had the liberty of growing up in her house, who she was born in 1900 and her older sister was born in 1897. And they had a mother that was born at the end of slavery. And they had a grandmother that was born into slavery. And I have my family records all the way back to 1851 and before because they didn't really have birth certificates. So I got a firsthand account of what it was like to be growing up in Jim Crow South, about the lynchings, about the terror, when black people could do nothing to defend themselves against white folks. And then people say, well, there were black elected officials. Yeah, and some of them got killed. And a lot of them got chased. And there was nothing that black folks could do. And then there were riots, which I don't know why they called them riots, during the 1900s after the First World War, because when a lot of people went away to the army, they came back and the blacks had taken some of the jobs. So the whites were upset about that. And they decided to pillage and destroy counties throughout the south of the United States. Not just Tulsa, Oklahoma, but Rosewood, Florida, Orange County. It was just so many different places where they pillaged. They took over the black banks, took all the money, raided the black people's homes, killed some black people that resisted. No one went to jail. And at that time, the blacks were saying, okay, well, let's be separate. Y'all want to be separate? Let us be separate. But they said, wait a minute. We want to be separate, but we still want your money. So, nigga, you can go over there, but bring that green over here. And when that wasn't happening, that was the reason for the pillaging. Don't let us not be confused about what happened in this country, and let us not tell our sons and daughters fairy tales about the government of this country. So they kicked all the commentators off of media platforms: Roland Martin, Tavis Smiley, Cornel West, of course, Nation of Islam, Farrakhan. But it's a good thing that these people, that the event of social media has now allowed you to build your own platform to still communicate and reach out to your people. And I don't want people to confuse this as hate talk. This is us talk. And sometimes it's just about us having a conversation without them, because they've had centuries of conversations without us. And we're not going to change who we are. And like I tell my white friends, yeah, I got some white friends. Hey, if I can't be me, you can't be my friend. That's the bottom line. And I'm going to say how I feel, the way I feel, and if that hurts your feelings, too bad. Because there's a lot of stuff going on in this country that has kept us hurt. And so as we go into this election year with all the Trump supporters, you know, I don't know if they're confused or their morals are confused. Well, look how great he's been. I said, don't be stupid all your life. The man came in, he's a millionaire, he's connected with a whole bunch of other millionaires. What do you think the first call was? Put your money up, man. Make this money because I'm the president. We're about to run monopoly on these fools. Everybody started coming out their pocket, putting their money up. That's why everything's rocking and rolling. Because President Obama had to come in and clean up a whole mess and put money back in their pockets. He bailed out the auto industry. He bailed out the banking industry, and he bailed out the home industry. Where y'all think that money came from? Well, we had to save the country because that's the game. But you niggas, we ain't doing nothing to save y'all. And as long as you continue to fight to be under me, I will keep you under me. I'm not going to get on my soapbox too much tonight. Like I said, tonight I just wanted to have a light show. Wanted to say thank you all for coming back to the No PC show. I don't know if Thursday night football or whatever is still going on. You know, it is what it is. But we're going to have tons of conversations. And for those that didn't get the word, we start now at 8 o'clock instead of 7:30 because it was just too hard for me to make it from my store. See, look, I got a store. RPC Computing, 1741 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois, 773-966-4457, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 9 to 1 for all your computing and printing needs. This is what we do. We need black businesses, black ownership. We need a black mindset, and like this show says, the title is 2020, Let's Get It. And then when I say let's get it, I'm saying let's get that revolutionary mindset, black mindset, that says we no longer accept these things that you're trying to give us. This is what we want. Take it or leave it. And so in this election year, I ain't heard nobody talk about reparations. So why would I give you my vote? Now, if Trump come out and say, hey, reparations for black people, okay, we may mess with you. So if you want our vote, whoever gonna open the chest and put it out there, that's who we rolling with. That's where everybody plays politics. They get what they want, regardless of who's in the office. And we feel like we got to be the saviors and moral people of the planet, and we the ones that get the most screwed over. So we didn't open the lines tonight. Next week, we're going to have a whole different thing going on. But thank everyone for coming. If you want to save the dialing number in your phone for next week, it is 872-267. 872-267-2552. If you got an idea or you want to drop us something, email address is the show 1965@yahoo.com. Again, the show 1965@yahoo.com, and the phone number is 872-267-2552. We thank you all for coming out. We love you. We appreciate you. And as we always say, love, peace, soul. We out of here.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
Do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
If your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remaining. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 100 20 times, but you were still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some sheep getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you won't. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck that. Freedom or death, nigga.
If you just listen,
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
you were getting a warning. Until now, you're going to jail.
I'm getting it for what?